Incredible soil, perfect precipitation, and a record-breaking bumper crop don't mean much without a solid marketing strategy. In this video, we'll hear helpful marketing advice from farmers and their advisors so that good organic crops might never go unsold. Let's hear first from a West Texas farmer about his aha moment when baling organic peanut hay for a new friend.
I was completely new to it. It was like, your baler has to be clean and you need to rinse it off, all this kind of stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's organic. And we baled the hay and I kind of saw what they were doing out there, and he started telling me some of the numbers. That's really what it was. He started telling me the numbers, the prices, and the amount per acre, and I just I'm sitting there listening to it and I'm going, I got to get in on this.
One of the greatest love stories that exists in West Texas is the bankers with the organic farmers. They're the ones that get financed first.
We know that the transition to certified organic production can be a challenge agronomically. What does that transition mean when it comes to marketing?
Where I think a critical error or misstep is occurring for many farms, if not most, is what it's going to take to re-educate buyers, the people you're serving, or forge new relationships. Because oftentimes when you make that transition from conventional to organic, you're leaving the distribution or sales channels that you have known and you're finding new ones. And so once that transition's made, I think the greater workload is actually after the farming's done and in the sales and education channels.
I think Adrienne's right. Having somebody on your team that can change where and how you sell stuff is key. I mean, without Adrienne doing some of that stuff, I don't know if I would still be doing it. It's been hard to lose customers you've had for 20 years, basically have them telling you what you produce is junk now.
So if somebody was interested in getting into organic, I think my first advice to them would be make sure you have a market, make sure that market's going to be there after you've transitioned your land, because that's going to be a 3-year period from the last time you sprayed anything that was non-organic on that land. You're looking at a pretty tough transition period. During that transition period, you're going to farm it organically and you're going to get a conventional price for it. That's the toughest part of the transition right there, is farming it organically, a little higher production costs, a lot more labor. So you better make sure that you do have a labor source for your hoeing. Then you better make sure that market is going to be there 3 years from then when you do reach that organic status. And so these niche markets are risky, but that's why they're a little higher value, is because they're risky. And you've got to probably have deep enough pockets or be financially stable enough to withstand some risk if you're going to jump off into some niche markets.
All right, so we know that the organic market can be profitable and have heard some quick advice to navigate transition. Now let's explore how organic crop marketing is profoundly different from the conventional markets farmers and advisors might be used to.
The most common question I get is on markets. Yes, we can talk about weed control or maybe some experiment I'm working on, somebody's read about, but overwhelmingly it's markets.
Right. With respect to field crops, I think one of the biggest challenges is infrastructure, market infrastructure. A lack of brokers, a lack of obvious markets. How do I move my crop? Who buys it? How do I transport it? A lot of the markets may be in California, for example, where they have a lot of organic dairies that are desperate for organic forages. But how do we get our organic forages to California? Those kinds of very basic infrastructure.
One of the things that I really had to wrap my mind around farming is I could not treat organic cotton the same as conventional cotton, especially on the marketing side. Two totally different methods of marketing.
Marketing our organic crops has been a little bit of a challenge. Before we ever prepare our soil for the year, we usually know what we're growing, and if we know what we're growing, we already have either a contract signed to grow that crop, or we have a pretty good idea that we're going to sign that contract and it's been offered to us. It would be pretty tough to go in there and plant an organic peanut crop, I think, right now without having a contract and knowing exactly where that product's going to go.
In a conventional mindset, you pick up the phone and make 3 phone calls and you can find a home for a product. And on the organic side, it's not that easy. I mean, sometimes we'll spend 3 or 4 days making phone calls. So we're having to plan 24 and 36 months ahead on what crop's going where and start working on a marketing plan for that crop now.
The biggest issue I've got with farmers is they're not researching those markets. Now, certainly they can lean into me and others, and if they are leaning into us, that means they're concerned about the market, they're asking questions about the market. The worst call is someone that just harvested the crop and says, hey, do you know anybody interested in my organic wheat? I'm like, oh my gosh, if I'd have just known that some time ago, or last week I got a call, somebody wanting some organic wheat. We really need to be on the list a long time before. We need to have our markets identified a long time before. We need to know that market before we put the seed in the ground. And unfortunately, too many farmers just assume there's going to be a market for them. It will find a home, but generally not at the price you were expecting.
You definitely need to know people. It would have been way harder for me to get into this organic deal if I would not have had friends and people that I know that were already in it that I could ask and that could make connections for me, because it's fairly connection driven. You know somebody who knows somebody and they connect you with people, and it's not just like a global market that you can just, hey, take my crop to the elevator and they'll sell it.
The one really neat thing is, on conventional sides, we never knew our end user on any product that we ever sold. It just went into a warehouse and it got sold and we never knew the buyer. And this new organic relationship that we have now, where we actually have relationships with our buyers that can tell us exactly what they want in a crop and why they don't want it this way. And yes, we need a 2-leaf on this cotton. We can't have a 3-leaf, and they explain why. That relationship just gives all new meaning to us as a farmer in delivering a product to the public that they want. It makes it so much more fun on the farming side, knowing that somebody appreciates your crop and they give you feedback on what you're delivering them. It's just way more fun. It's just the way we ought to be interacting as humans. When you get to shake the hand of the buyer of your crop, you put a lot more love into that crop.